and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to something a little bit different, to the very first edition of the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, number 15, but the first time coming back in full swing as a weekly tournament. Oh my god, welcome everyone, welcome to a brand new time slot to the ESL America's Replacement Tournament. Of course, the EPT weeklies have gone on a bit of a hiatus for a couple of weeks, maybe a month. We'll see how long. Never mind. We'll see how long the off-season does last, but regardless, we are here to do our part. Shout out to Wardy, of course. Wardy did announce a replacement for the Asia events. We had Steadfast, Kalaris, and Rotterdam covering their own event a couple of hours ago as well, kind of stepping in for the European Weekly, and this week we are stepping in for the NA Weekly as well. So all three of us just coming together, the community, papi. Oh my god. It's great to be back. Of course, I'm your host, Live VIP, and with me I'm joined by all these amazing players, by the people in the chat as well, and !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The brackets are live, and you can also help support the bracket, support the tournament via Matcherino if you wish. !Matcherino in the chat. Shout out to Stegosaurus, Proto Stegosaurus, as we had a massive donation. Typically, this event would have a prize pool of 150 USD. This week, 300 USD. Double the prize pool, double the stakes, double the StarCraft. Let's go as we're jumping into our first series, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the Canadian Terran player, the Red Terran representing Pigpan. It is AppleJuice. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the American Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Berserker Esports. It is Zesty. I believe AppleJuice is Canadian. I'll have to double check. I'll have to double check on that one. One momento. I said it with such confidence. I think I could be mistaken. Yes, Canadian. Oh, let's go. I remember, puppy. Remember. So the Canadian Protoss up against the American Zerg player. Here we go. Again, the bracket is live. The bracket is stacked. Of course, the bracket is open to all players from all regions. We have players from Korea, players from Europe, players from Americas and Latino America as well. Players from all shapes and sizes from all around the world coming together to tussle it out like a turtle. What does that mean? I don't know. Regardless, it is great to be here, great to be back. When it comes to future events, we are planning to host this for at least 6 weeks. So we have 6 weeks confirmed, 6 weeks of this edition ready to go. But whether or not we stay in this time slot or a different time slot or a different day, yet to be determined. There are other events in the works from my understanding. There are other weeklies coming in, so we will have to adjust, make room. For example, if the EPT off-season only lasts a month, only lasts 3 weeks, then we will move over. Of course, we'll allow EPT to come back, and then we'll be jumping into a different time slot entirely, but still hosting this event. It'll still be here. It'll still be around. Just as a heads up. For the time being, though, we do have our standard opener, Hatchgas Pool here out of Zesty. Likewise, AppleJuice opening up with a Ranks Expand. Nothing too crazy so far in the early game. Nothing yet. As we are attempting to take a third base, AppleJuice being as annoying as possible. The SCV is on patrol. Reaper's going to be coming in as well, and the drone is going to be shut down. Alas, the third base is up. Oh my god. But we were going for the expansion, but alas, we are unable to, and Zesty is denied and contained on 2 bases. We'll eventually expand, but this is a nice start here for AppleJuice. A nice delay. Lings move out, but ooh, the Lings are off of creep. They're deep off of creep. They're going to be shut down as well. The Reaper is going to have its way with these Lings, but at least the expansion is taken. At least the Reaper is distracted, and Zesty can take his third. Here we go. So ESL is supposed to come back. It's in the off season, so it should come back eventually. Until then, you know, we'll be here. Whether it's us, whether it's another StarCraft event, we'll do our best to be around. As the Reaper does a poke in. Once again, just keeping an eye on things. Bearing in mind, because Zesty's third base was delayed quite heavily, the likelihood of this being a 2-base all-in and getting a second gas and going for a Roach Horn is there. So AppleJuice is just trying to keep an eye on things, just trying to make sure that everything is as it should be. Meanwhile, shout out to, the turtle. Oh, it's beautiful. Is there. Say happy. Hello. Waving to us. Behind this 3cc, it's going to be 3rd CC before Starport. Economic follow-up out of AppleJuice, just headed towards a macro standard game. Headed towards the mid-game, there's Yaddle swap. It's going to be 3cc, Banshee out of AppleJuice. And with the Overlord dipping in, Zesty should be able to confirm what's going on, should be able to get eyes on the tech lab and the building, and the Banshee. Zesty is aware. Behind this, massing up queens, droning up. We should make a handful of things just to be safe against the Hellions, but outside of that, Zesty should be okay. AppleJuice could try to dive in and dive past the queens, but for now is going to be zoned away, and Zesty is holding his own. Hup. The Hellions are zoned back. Going behind this, no major tech structures yet. Just happily droning. Hellions are amassing, they can threaten the creep. Again, they can threaten a dive as well, just try to rush past the queens, and they do! And they go for the dive. Do we have any lings? We have a handful of lings in position. Ling speed has been skipped. Uh-oh. Zesty did skip ling speed. They're going to be shut down by the Hellions. They go for the mineral line. The punish is real. Zesty skip ling speed to try to be greedy, but the drones are lighting. No, they're lighting up. No! Oh my god! 9 drones going down. The Hellions will be shut down, but this is worth it for AppleJuice. 9 drone kills. I'm loving the whole position there with the queens. Very nicely done. But that was 9 drones. That was, 10 workers in total and 8 lings as well. Well worth it for 4 Hellions. Bearing in mind, Hellions do not scale into a longer, later game. So a nice trade for AppleJuice. And again, winding it back, a big reason why the lings weren't able to keep up is because ling speed just started. Ling speed only now just began. Again, Zesty was intentionally cutting corners, was trying to be greedy, and was punished. And we're not done. Here comes the next wave. Banshee has arrived. No Spore. No Spore at the third. No Spore anywhere, actually. Zesty scouted. Zesty scouted earlier. He saw the tech lab researching. He saw the Banshee. And just like that, Zesty's going to be contained on 2 bases. We could try to kill some more workers. AppleJuice doesn't realize how unprepared Zesty is. And now hits the natural. Spore still on the way. We could maybe focus on one more drone blast the Spore. It will finish up, and Zesty will defend. Has a Spore at the natural, but what about the third? Not like this. Yeah, the third base is under fire. Spore's going to be rotating over. Banshees, they could hit the natural once again. But it looks like we do leave the Banshees idle, and the Banshee is going to be focused down. Yeah, one Banshee does fall. Ooh, and so will the other. AppleJuice overextending. Initially, good. Oh, he goes for the dive. But initially, AppleJuice, he did do an amazing job, amazing damage here at the third. Still no mining at the third base whatsoever. Still delayed economy here for Zesty. But the Hellions, but the Banshees went down. Meanwhile, the one Hellion in the main. Oh my god! The harassed hero of AppleJuice. Calm down. He's full. He's full of juice. Apples. Meanwhile, a bit of a delayed reaction is Zesty. He has lings. He has lings to respond, and he's going for a counterattack instead. He says, screw it. Screw this one Hellion. It's not worth my time. The Hellion goes down. 3 more drone kills, and Zesty is rushing across the map. Zesty is rushing across. We do have Marines to defend, but the wall is open. We could potentially dive into the natural. There's potential for damage. Meanwhile, behind this, AppleJuice did scout the main, getting a read on what's going on. We can see it's going to be Ling Bane. There was a chance, especially because of how late Ling speed was, that it would be Roaches and an all-in, or maybe 2-base Muta or something crazy. Zesty just now rotating over towards the third, and just now transferring over. It's, again, a bit of a later saturation here for Zesty. Here we go. As AppleJuice is going to be moving out. Catching up with the Queens. And because of how much economic damage that's been dealt so far in this game, Zesty's in trouble. Zesty, he otherwise would have a good amount of Ling Bane and have upgrades already done, but again, it's all stacked up over time. Too many drone kills, too many losses early on. The hatchery goes down. That's a kill on the 4th base, and AppleJuice could keep pushing. Bailing speed is not done. Without Bailing speed, this Ling Bane army is not that threatening. Bailing's spotted. But now AppleJuice just throwing up creep, taking it slow. Takes down a lot of tumors. Tumors are going down. Queens move out. And we'll see how well AppleJuice can split. So far, good target firing. Does target down some Bailings, but the tanks are cleaned up. And Zesty, he holds. Zesty holds, but again, it's not going to be an easy road of recovery here for Zesty. He is getting a 4th base, getting it back up and running. Bailing speed is now done. 1-1 on the way. But here comes the main army. And what's scary is that AppleJuice, he lost his tanks, but he didn't lose his Marines. The Marines are still up and running. They're still standing strong. Stimming on in. just rotating around. Bailey's gonna be. Oh no! Oh my god! AppleJuice not looking! He wasn't looking, Fappy. AppleJuice distracted by, imagine this Link counterattack. Was looking elsewhere, and Zesty does take a decent fight. Moving out across the map, but drop into the main. Zesty is exposed. The pants are down. Queens are rotating over. Tank sieging into the main. Soon to be. Catching a handful of workers. Catch some queens. Link's race back home. At the same time, Link Bane goes across the map. The Marines. Big connections. The Marines are caught out the SCV line as well. Zesty still in this. Takes down the mineral line. And will take down the bunker as well. Just barely. AppleJuice racing back home. Chaos ensues. 24 SCV kills. And suddenly, the deficit that Zesty had, I mean, Zesty was in a lot of trouble. Still is. Still no fourth. The fourth just now finished. But with that counter damage, Zesty, we're okay. We're holding. We're surviving. We have a game. we have a back and forth, Pappy. That's what matters. We have the back and forth. And meanwhile, AppleJuice rolling up, trying to get Central House up and running. Trying to restabilize. Now, because AppleJuice is on 4 CC, we have plenty of mules, and we're making 4 workers at a time. Because of that, AppleJuice is still actually not that far behind economically to Zesty. It's still pretty close in the economy, at least. Link rolling in. Marines being focused down. Link does try to connect and will catch some Marines, but the spread is looking good, and AppleJuice, he will keep on pushing. He is breaking through. And how many Banelings do we have? 2. Those are the only 2 Banelings. We have 8 more Banelings on the way. Zesty needs time. He needs more time, and AppleJuice is not giving that time. Stimming in, going for the army. 10 Banelings in total. Is it enough? Do we have enough Link Bane? The tanks are far back. Call pickup. AppleJuice does pull away. Tank goes down. Queen's moving forward. And it looks like with the help of the Queen, Zesty, he should be able to hold on. It's going to be close. The libs, the freedom is here. The Queens are being targeted down one after the other. Not enough transfused, not enough Queens, and AppleJuice keeps on pushing. He breaks through, and it looks like he has broken the back of Zesty. It's been a chaotic game, very chaotic. AppleJuice had a lot of momentum early on. Zesty brought it back, but alas, didn't bring it back enough. The counter damage was not good enough here. It was close, and Zesty barely has an army left standing. AppleJuice will bring down the hatchery. Zesty trying to come in from behind and get some decent connections. But the rally, the mass marine, the marauder, it's overwhelming. It is overwhelming. We're snowballing out of control, Pappy. Let's go. Tank goes down. There's 1 tank left. Liberation has arrived. AppleJuice expanding behind this, taking another CC. And can rally to the 3rd and bring down the hatchery as well. Boys are being pulled in a moment of desperation for Zesty. Links as well trickling in, but without Banelings, there's no stopping this. GG gets called, and AppleJuice takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. AppleJuice does take the first game, but hey, we had our moments for Zesty as well. A little bit more in favor of AppleJuice, but again, Zesty was able to catch out the army multiple times. Was able to have a massive counterattack as well, crippling the economy somewhat. But in the end, was still a little bit too far behind from the early game. Was unable to recover, but we'll see if we can bounce back in game 2. I want to believe. I do want to believe. Oh my god. As my apologies, as AppleJuice is actually playing random. I thought it was weird seeing AppleJuice playing Terran at the start of the game. He's usually a Protoss player. He's a Protoss main, but AppleJuice, the confidence, he's rolling random. Let's go. Send it. Catching up in the chat. Pants may be down, but at least they're on. They're barely hanging on. Aye. See in chats. Pigpan is Pig's team and is sponsoring pro players. Pigpan is Pig's community. From my understanding, he isn't necessarily sponsoring players, but basically his community banded together to compete in team leagues, essentially. So it's his boys, if you will. It's not quite like Team Brody, because Team Brody actually salary their players. It's a little bit different with the Pigpan, but regardless, we're jumping in, and here we go. We have a very different matchup. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Protoss player representing Pigpen. Rolling random, rolling Protoss. It is the Canadian Protoss, AppleJuice. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player from the land of the Americas representing Berserker Esports. It is Zesty. There we go. Zesty going hatch first, and AppleJuice about to reveal himself here as the probe does move out for a scout, and now Zesty is fully aware of the race of his opponent. Again, as a reminder, AppleJuice did roll random, and is now rolling his main race. Oh boy. Here we go. As Zesty will be... Oh, sorry, as AppleJuice is just going to be posing a bit of a threat, being as annoying as possible. Dragging a drone out of the mineral line. And we'll see how things differ this time. Again, last game, as a reminder, Zesty... Oh my god! Reacting a little bit here, pulling a lot of boys for the probe. Has to be careful. What I was going to say is that if you recall, last game, Zesty was very greedy, was cutting a lot of corners and was punished, did delay Ling speed intentionally so, and again, was trying to defend with purely Queen. Likewise, despite scouting across the map, the Cloak Banshees did catch Zesty off guard. This time, though, a very different dynamic, and we'll see if Zesty can keep up. We'll see if AppleJuice does open up Stargate. Based on the pylon positioning, it should be a Stargate opener for AppleJuice. If it was a Twilight Council, usually you hide it further back in the main, with a hidden pylon with a more protected structure. So I imagine Stargate, but we'll see. Oh! As the probe takes a lot of hits, will dip away. Oh my! Once again, Zesty pulling a lot of boys! Will kill the probe, but does kill it, I guess, but that was a lot of lost mine time once again. We'll see, though. I mean, at least has the... has been able to shut it down, can now freely expand, take a third base. We have a handful of Lings moving out across the map, just for some scouting information more than anything, and there it is, Stargate is on the way. As I mentioned before, again, just a more secure location here for AppleJuice. I say secure, a bit of a more efficient location as it does reduce time it takes for the Oracle to get across the map. So, what I meant to say. Meanwhile, Adept dipping in, getting some scanning information. AppleJuice making sure there is no extra gases, no hidden tech. Bit fast Roachwarren. You can see Zesty has pulled out of gas, so we're not rushing into anything too crazy. Second Adept moving out. And we'll see what AppleJuice can get done across the map. Just poking in. There are plenty of Lings, plenty of Queens as well, and we are successfully zoning AppleJuice away. Oracle is in production. Stargate into Oracle. Zesty, I believe, did confirm. As the Adepts are going to be getting into the main, getting 2 drone kills. Not bad, but 2 drones for 2 Adepts. I would say a better trade for Zesty. A lot more potential for damage was there for AppleJuice. Oracle moves out, is spotted by the Overlord. And as Zesty has 2 Queens at the natural, and just the 1 Queen in the main. So the main base is a little bit more exposed, but with 1 Oracle, Zesty should be okay. Should be okay. Meanwhile, AppleJuice, no third. Big delay in the third base. AppleJuice going for a Twilight Council and a Robo instead. Oh boy, very committed play here from AppleJuice. Are we going for Glaives, Blink, or Charge? Regardless, we're still on 2 bases. So very aggressive here from the Protoss. Zesty is somewhat aware. He hasn't scouted the main base, but upon seeing no third, that, should be raising red flags. So we should soon be seeing a safety Roachwarren. We're reaching the 4-minute 30 mark, and now should be the time for a Roachwarren here, considering the game state. Third base now on the way. At least Zesty is somewhat aware that it's not going to be an all-in. But I am concerned by the lack of Roachwarren, or if not a Roachwarren, Baneliness. There we go, Roachwarren now on the way. It is a little bit later, but it should still be up in time. Just before the 5-minute mark. And behind this, it looks like Twilight Council into a Templar Archives. Okay, this is a build that we have seen pop up from time to time. This is a roundabout way, or a different kind of way of getting into an Archon drop. Basically, High Templar into Archons, dropping across the map, gaining map control, getting some damage, drone kills, queen kills, and then a delayed expansion. Geralt and Creator, they're players that predominantly go for this build. I say predominantly, they do it like once every couple of months. Like I wouldn't say they embrace the build too often, but every now and then we have seen them whip it out. So yeah, +1 on the horizon. We should be working towards charge, towards +1. Prism has arrived, and the High Templar should be morphed in. The would-be Archons are on the way. So Archon drop is coming. Back at home, AppleJuice securing his third. Zesty not punished for the later Roach Warren, and so far joining quite happily. Fourth base on the way. So far so good, but here comes the aggression. Here come the Archons. AppleJuice catching an Overlord, going for stasis. Up! Oh, we do react in time. Zesty does pull away, thankfully. Does pull away. Oh, takes down the Oracle as well. Very nicely done. Oracle does go down. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, Archons mainly focusing on clearing up creep. Going for the Overseer. Ooh, clutch transfuse. Overseer is still going to go down, though. One more volley, and it will fall. Oh, if we do target it down, though, never mind. Overseer does morph in. Instead, we get the Queen. AppleJuice does snipe one of the Queens. The other two do manage to waddle away. The Archons are getting very low. AppleJuice does have to be careful at the same time. Link counterattack, but there is a shield battery. There are units at home to defend. AppleJuice does hold. The Archon up! Archon goes down. Big overextension. The AppleJuice is distracted. Will lose an Archon. Massive pickoff. Observer as well. On the one hand, AppleJuice did kill 2 Queens. He got 2 Queens, but for an Archon, that was an expensive trade for AppleJuice. I'll slightly favor Zesty there. Behind this, getting fully saturated, up to 3 base saturation. 66 drones. Hydra Den on the way, so it's going to be Roach Hydra from Zesty. And AppleJuice is building up towards Storm, building up towards a 3-base push. That is a lot of gateways. Basically, instead of taking a 4th base, gateway explosion. 8 gates here for AppleJuice. Zesty does confirm this is a big scout. Zesty gets into the main and does see every single gateway alongside the lack of expansion. So there's going to be a very committed move out here from AppleJuice, and it's on Zesty not to be too greedy and be ready for this. We need units. We need Roaches, Hydras. Zesty joining up to 85. Oh, this is a little bit greedy. Very greedy, actually. I would have typically joining up to 73 is a solid count. 85 is good for a longer game, but AppleJuice is pushing. And Storm is almost done, and Zesty is still teching Hive and Lurker Den. This is very risky. Now, if Zesty can buy time, it's going to be worth it, right? If we can get into Lurker tech, then we can shut down this grand push, but it's still a ways away. And here comes AppleJuice. Zesty's taking a 5th, knocking down the Rux. AppleJuice is moving out. Storm is done. And we have more Zealots on the way behind this. AppleJuice going for a split push. Prism on the right-hand side. That means the Prism isn't here to juggle and to protect the units. Oh, the Biles! One High Templar goes down. Massive pickoff. That's 1 High Templar. 2 Zealots. Zealots will hit the right-hand side. Decent force fields. Storm is okay, but not ideal. Roaches, they can tank some storms. Oh god, a much better storm here for AppleJuice, locking down the army. Roach Ravager going down at the same time, a massive warp into the main base. Again, 10 Zealots at a time. And Zesty, was he too greedy? It's going to be close. A massive storm once again. Oh my god, 26, 29, 32 drones going down. Roach is coming from behind. They do catch an Immortal. And Templar going down as well. Boys are being pulled. The Protoss army, it is struggling. But the Zealots, they're winning the game here as they've crippled the economy. The main army did crumble for AppleJuice, down to 2 units, down to 3 units. But the Zealots, they take down the drones at the 3rd in the main. And Zesty just barely did not have enough. Again, was a little bit too greedy, droned up to 85, taken into Hive. Against essentially a 3-base all-in. 4th base is now on the way, but that was more of an afterthought. And even though Zesty will clean this up, it's down to 27 drones. Down to 2 base economy. We'll shut down the Prism. But at this point, at this stage, I feel like Zesty has to go. Like here and now, has to move out across the map, has to try to break the bases. But look, we have 5 Immortals. I mean, Zesty has a Lurker Den, true. Can morph in Lurkers, has a Hive, can morph in some Vipers as well, but has limited economy is the problem. Meanwhile, AppleJuice is You know, getting to that next step, getting to that next stage. +1 air attack and Sky Toss. Sky Toss on the way. Sky Toss is coming. The longer this goes on, even though Zesty needs time, AppleJuice, he's using that time to tech up further into the ideal, into the late game. We go morphing in more lurkers. More lurkers on the horizon, shutting down a handful of these zealots. The scout does reveal the Sky Toss. Zesty is aware. Gets eyes on the carriers. And we're waiting for the move out. We're waiting for the main army here. Zesty is massing out more of these lurkers. How much army do we have? We're up to 6 lurkers. 6 lurkers. Spire is on the way. Zesty did confirm the Sky Toss, of course, is attempting to get ready. At the same time, Zesty joining up. Getting back up to just under 3 base saturation. Again, if AppleJuice gives Zesty too much time, then Zesty can recover. But AppleJuice is moving out. That's the problem. AppleJuice is not giving Zesty that time. He was able to cripple the economy earlier, and now coming in with everything else. Storm, Immortals, Carriers. Not too many Carriers, but enough to support. 2 observers, detection is available. Hatchery is going to go down. And at the same time, Zealots, they hit the left-hand side. 18 drones falling. How much anti-air do we have? We're down to 5 Hydras. Not like this. AppleJuice is rotating around. Clearing up creep, playing it safe. Doesn't overextend, respecting the lurkers. As AppleJuice takes another expansion, another base. And again, AppleJuice, he isn't going for the kill, isn't going for the third yet, just making sure he takes down every single tumor, gets map control, secures himself. And now we're up to 4 carriers. And how many immortals? 9! 9 immortals! Oh my god. That's a lot of immortal, man. Here's a lot of immortal. You can see Zesty walling up, spores, lurkers. I mean, this is the best chance that Zesty has. It's not a bad setup if we weren't stuck on 3 bases against a 5-basing Protoss. Zesty not going down without a fight. Vipers have arrived. Abduction's going to be available as well. Hatchery goes down. Spine shots going up. Zoning away the ground army at least. And AppleJuice has maxed. We've reached that critical mass, 200 supply of Protoss. Blink is on the way, Shadow Stride. We have a Dark Shrine just to be safe, I guess. The mothership is here. We can even recall right into the main. And that might be the plan. Bypass the front lines. I mean, hey, that's a lot of spores, a lot of lurkers as well. It is quite a terrifying position to push into. So bypass it. The main base is exposed. And there's the recall right into the main. Oh, with with Mass DT. I assumed it was going to be the main army, but no. Mass DT recalled into the main base. AppleJuice looking to end it with style. Snipes the hive. It goes for the tech. Oh my god. And Shadow Stride is now done. Going for every single tech structure. We'll try to recall the mothership, won't be able to. It's shut down at least. Behind this, at least, reinforcing with more DTs. Oh my god. I feel like this is as Protoss as you can get. You've got the Death Ball with Immortal Carrier, and then you've got Mass DT. No. Welcome to NA. Jesus. As DTs are running into the death. Oh my god, the lurker shots. DTs are thrown away. They don't get the expansion. Oh, and then pushing into these lurkers is not going to be easy, but the storms are brutal. The immortals, they can tank some lurker shots. The immortals are breaking through. Is there detection? No detection. No observer. The observer is not here, and AppleJuice is throwing away a lot of supply. It does kill the expansion. Zesty is down to one base. And yeah, GG. GG gets called. It wasn't the cleanest fight out of AppleJuice. It wasn't pretty, but it got the job done. GG, well played, AppleJuice. We'll take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. AppleJuice will take it. And with that, does advance on into the next round. Does advance on. Does advance on, and we're going to be following AppleJuice into his next series. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. Again, shout out to Zesty, of course. Zesty was able to hold his own at times, and again, even in game 1, for example, we did have a closer back and forth. Here in game 2, I mean, it was a similar story, I would say, in a sense, with both game 1 and game 2, with Zesty cutting some corners, being greedy, and at times being punished for said greed. Again, Zesty had joined up to 85, was working on a 5th expansion, taking up into Hive, into Lurkers, as we had a very committed 3-base push, borderline 3-base all-in from AppleJuice, which is why it did snowball out of control, why AppleJuice was able to break through the front lines and wreak so much havoc in the bases. So, a little bit unfortunate there, but regardless, hope to see more of Zesty in the future. Both players, of course, GM. Both players GM. AppleJuice does advance on, and we have a bracket. We have a bracket to go over. Let's go. As we switch our scenes and have a look and start from the top.